AI has really shaken up a lot of industries, and data analytics or data science is no exception. So you're going to get a lot of things that data analysts and data scientists have done previously that can be done by AI, especially by these LLM models, where you can potentially ask it to sort of analyze data, you can ask it to summarize findings. So what you're finding is that a lot of people who are in the data space, who are either data analysts or data scientists, have been asking the question, well, how do I stand out, right? I mean, in this AI saturated world, how do I stand out? I mean, if AI can do everything, what can I do differently? Now, this is a difficult one because you're trying to look into the future to think what will be the application of AI in the data space, right? How far is it going to go? Is it going to be like a fully autonomous data analyst or data scientist in the future, where the business just asks it a question and it does everything, and so therefore there are no data roles in the future? Or is it always going to be a co-pilot? Is it going to be an augmentation tool for data analysts, data scientists, where, like in my days, I used to use Google to search for stuff. Now you can just ask these AI agents, ChatGPT, Claude, to generate code for you or to build a predictive model. So how do you stay relevant in a world where it seems that AI is taking over everything? I mean, every time you sort of read something new, AI can do something new, right? It just seems to be progressing really fast. So what is it that you can do to still stand out and hopefully still have a job? Now, like I said, I can't really look into the future and tell you how you should adapt your skills to be ready for that sort of transition. But actually, there are certain things that I don't think AI will be able to do that well, or in the interim won't be able to do that well. So you can still say relevant in the short to medium term. The long term is very hard to predict. But these are the sort of things that I think you could potentially do in the short to medium term. The starting point is to look at what are you good at beyond just analyzing data. So what is it that you're really good at in your job that has nothing to do with analyzing data? Because don't forget, a data analyst job is not just analyzing data. There's a whole suite of other things that you do. And so just look at yourself, introspectively look at yourself and say, what do I do that people mention me about, or comment or give you compliments about? What is it that I do that people think, oh, he's really good at that, beyond just the data analysis? Because obviously that data analysis bit could potentially be taken over by AI agents. So think about what you do beyond just the data analysis. Are you the kind of person that's really good at translating briefs? Now, in my experience, business owners have very broad requirements. It's very rare to find someone who knows exactly what they want of the data. So they'll come along and they'll say, look, can you tell me how sales performed last holiday, right? And as an analyst, you take that brief away and you translate it into the actual code that you want. And is that something you're really good at? Are you really good at going back to the client and saying, what did you exactly mean by holiday period? What's the window? Are you really good at getting the information that you need from the client so that the analysis you run is exactly what they want? Because if you are good at that, think about how you can improve your skills in that area. Because what you're ultimately trying to do is trying to be valuable in that chain of command, in that chain of work. So you may find that if the business is not very good at articulating the problem, then they won't be good at articulating it to a AI agent. Okay, so they're always going to need someone in between. And if you're that someone in between, you now have a role, right? Because they need someone, an analyst, that they can tell their broad business questions to, and that analyst will then go off and prompt the AI agent or the AI analyst to run the query. But they still need that person. They need a human who's going to do that translation. So if you're really good at that, identify that and make sure that you're visible in doing that. Make sure that when you are got a brief, people know that you're the guy or the girl who's very good at translating that brief into an actual analytical requirements. Or are you the kind of person that's really good at communicating findings? So what happens is that the analysis is run and you get loads of data back, and you put it into graphs and charts or whatever you do, and then you've got to tell the business what it means, because it's very rare that business owners will want to look at graphs and charts. I mean, I learned this the hard way early in my career. I used to send them over detailed graphs and charts, thinking that everybody would love to read them like I do, but that wasn't the case. They just wanted to know, what does it mean? So are you that kind of person? Are you the kind of person that can look at the findings and communicate it effectively to the business. Now, people may call it storytelling, data storytelling. So it's within that field, but it's more specific. What I mean by communicating the exact findings, like what does it mean? Okay, so data storytelling is the whole process of conveying what you've done and what it means for the business and stuff. But sometimes the business just like you literally, they'll say, here's a request, can you tell me what the finding is? Okay, and when you are communicating that finding, how good are you at that? And if you're very good at that, then that's unique. That's your USP, right? It's your unique selling point. That's what you can do that potentially an AI can't do. So again, get known for that. If that's what you're good at, find as many opportunities as you can to do that. So when someone says, oh, just send me the results, you might want to respond and say, actually, do you prefer if I just walk over to your desk, or let's do a video call where I can explain it to you? It'll be much easier. You don't have to spend all that time reading everything. I'll just summarize it for you, and then you can ask me any questions and I'll be able to explain it. That saves you having to read the document and then compile your questions on email. And if you do that, then people get to know you as the guy or girl who's very good at communicating findings. Or are you the kind of person that's really good at managing the project? So you get let's say you get a big request, okay, and you need a team of data analysts to do this analysis, or even if one person. But you're the kind of person that's really good at keeping the business informed on where the analysis is, identifying blockers and unblocking them, speaking to the stakeholders to make sure that that they're informed of where things are and how they can help in getting things going. Are you that kind of person? Are you really good at managing data projects? Because if you are, get known for that, right? Make sure that you're very visible in terms of that. Make sure you're the person sending out the email at the end of the week, giving the project status and update. Make sure you're the person that convenes meeting, right? Put in people's diaries. Say to them, look, I need 20 minutes of your time to discuss this project. I just want to give you a quick update and identify or let you know about any issues we're having, or any challenges or any decision points we have that you need to make a decision on. So be known for that person who takes control of a project and brings people together to make sure it's done. Or you could be the person that's really good at leading. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a project. You're good at leading the team. So if you are, make sure people see that. Make sure they see that if there is something that needs to be done, they can rely on you to make sure that the team does it and that the project is a success. So you need to show people that you're good at leading, and that will mean that you are showing the traits of leadership skill that the business can see. So things like bringing the team together, things like allowing other analysts who potentially don't talk on video calls to talk, getting the business to see, even if it's on a video call, how you are the center of this team, how without you the team wouldn't function, how they rely on you for their contributions, and how you rely on them to do the work that they need to do. So even if you're not the manager of the team, you can still lead the team, especially on short-term projects or on regular outputs that you need to do. Like, for example, if there's a weekly report that needs to go out, show that you can lead the team in delivering that, and especially show it when your manager's on holiday. So it's not about taking your manager's role. What you're trying to demonstrate, show the business, is that, look, this is how I differentiate myself. I'm able to lead my team, and then in the future, when if AI does a lot of what you do, they'll still need someone to lead teams or even lead projects. So in essence, have a think about what you're really good at beyond the data analytics, okay, and then get noticed for those skills. What you want people is to see you exhibit those skills, and it doesn't have to be one skill. You could do all four of them that I mentioned, and there may be other skills that I haven't thought about that you could also demonstrate. I remember one person who was in my team was a very good social organizer. I didn't praise them because they're a great social organizer. They actually showed good leadership skills, but it was actually something that was quite important to me because I had a big team and I needed someone who could organize social events, and they just stepped up. So whenever I would say, let's go out for a team meal, or let's do something as a team, this person would step up and they would do everything. I didn't have to worry about it. I knew if that person had time and I empowered them, they would just do it. And that meant that it didn't matter what they did as analysis. I was thinking in my back of my mind, I need this person for my team culture, so I must keep them. So make sure you get noticed for that. Don't do things in the background, especially now when a lot of people work from home. So if you're not in the office and you're not on video calls often enough, people won't notice you. So try and proactively get noticed. Initiate video calls. If you're in the office, initiate meetings. Demonstrate to the people who are more senior than you, or the people who potentially have decision-making power, what you have to offer beyond being just analyzing the data.